One day in Deepwoken, I was just chilling, minding my own business until the new oath, Silentheart, dropped out of nowhere and one thing came to mind. All I could think of are these words: this is a good opportunity, so I'll show you what real jujutsu is. What's up guys, it's Punchy, and of course today I'll be recreating one of my absolute favorite characters in recent anime with a very interesting and dynamic Deepwoken build. Watch out because there will be spoilers ahead for the Jujutsu Kaisen anime. Ryomen Sukuna, the undisputed king of curses and the most powerful curse spirit of all jujutsu history. It's 100% true that Sukuna is the most demon time character of all demon time. Well, for this show at least. Jujutsu Kaisen's true antagonist, Ryomen Sukuna, is famous for his insane destructive ability and neglect towards mankind. If only there was a way to stop him. Yuji Itadori and Sukuna are two sides of the same coin. Itadori, a normal high school student, becomes the vessel for Sukuna's vengeful spirit. Right now in the anime, Sukuna is bound to Yuji's body but can still do enough damage by himself. Sukuna, in his weakened state, is still one of the strongest characters in the entire series. He can cut things infinitely, reform entire parts of his body like it's nothing, and of course possesses the strongest domain expansion. In Jujutsu Kaisen, Gojo considers himself the strongest there is, but in a battle of domain expansion, who really wins that fight? No matter whose body Sukuna controls or where he is in history, Ryomen Sukuna has the most expansive knowledge of what true jujutsu really is. Domain expansion, divine punches. Well, it seems like you've fallen into my trap. You can't beat this domain expansion, but while you're here, make sure to punch that subscribe button because remember, my punches won't miss in domain. Alright, let's get into it. Sukuna and Yuji were very fun to recreate in Deepwoken because the drip is almost perfect. The best possible option for this dynamic duo is choosing Knorr. At first glance, the only thing special about Knorr is the red hair and markings, but we can quickly turn that pink with the usage of both moon and waning rings. The waning ring makes us super old and the moon ring keeps us young, and these balance out and leave us with pink hair. The rest of my drip is red down to the shoes using a dyed version of the black overcoat, sandrunner scarf, and leather boots. I did everything in my ability to recreate Yuji's Jujutsu High uniform. As you can see, well maybe you can't, my weapon of choice is the curse of Yunshou Flamekeeper Cestus. Throughout the series, Yuji and Sukuna struggle over who controls Yuji's host body. Of course, Sukuna does not want to be tied down and he spites Yuji and causes trouble for him. With the curse of Yunshou, we embody Sukuna as our very own cursed spirit and utilize him. Sometimes Yunshou activates and we deal extra damage, which represents Yuji and Sukuna working together. But when Yunshou hurts us, that's Sukuna's spirit hurting Yuji. It's unique and worth the risk. My build was specifically made for the Silentheart Oath, so my stats reflect that. A majority of my stats went into strength and agility. I'm not trying to rhyme, but let's get into Sukuna's abilities. When Sukuna is in full force, he displays multiple techniques that shred his target entirely. The first basic technique is Cleave, a singular cutting slash meant to disable and cut any opponent in half, and it's one of his finishing moves. Using Silentheart, I felt like Ankle Cutter worked perfectly, sliding at our target like a damn Beyblade and clip their ankles to disable their jump. It's perfect, and it does pretty good damage. The secondary part of Sukuna's cutting combo is Dismantle. Multiple slashes obliterate the opponent and slice them up entirely, turning them into an unrecognizable mess. This one is brutal. Manikadi, the Silentheart teleport, is probably the best representation of Dismantle in Deepwoken. We get right up in our enemy's face and spam them with a flurry of attacks. It's very powerful and representative of Sukuna's signature attack. In the show, Sukuna's domain expansion, Heavenly Shrine, is probably the most badass thing I've seen from any character. This expansive area is fully under Sukuna's control and he can dismantle and cleave anything in the radius. But to be honest, the best part about it is that other people cannot activate their own domains because it's just way too strong. They cannot beat over it. In Deepwoken, we don't have access to a domain expansion with the Silentheart Oath, but luckily we can still disable enemy attacks like Heavenly Shrine. Lodestar, the Silentheart talent, seals enemy attacks when we successfully parry. They can no longer do anything when I parry. To recreate Heavenly Shrine's insane range and ability, I reached 85 agility to use Shared Demise. When sneak attacking one target, nearby enemies are cut to shred, just like Cleave and Dismantle during Heavenly Shrine. I cannot stress this enough, but anime Sukuna is not full power. He has a fragment of his full power, and that's because Yuji has not collected the rest of his fingers. Once Yuji eats 20 of Sukuna's fingers, he'll be returned stronger than ever before. This time my build of choice was the Corrupted Jar of Souls. Every time we kill somebody, I absorb them and become stronger. Once fully charged, we release that energy and hurt everybody, even ourselves. The final attribute of Sukuna that people seem to forget is that he's a really skilled fighter. Despite also being strong and fast, his skill and underhanded tactics never stop. In the series, he toys with all of his opponents just using hand-to-hand combat. One talent that I've actually never used before was Bruiser's Mix-Up. You can switch between your styles mid-fight and get a bleed bonus when you do this. Usually, there's no room in my hotbar, but with Silentheart, we can show off Sukuna's spectacular fighting skills. That's all for Sukuna, and check out my full talent list. Now, let's get into some fights with the true king of curses. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe. I had a ton of fun with this character build, and comment on the next build you want to see next. As always, it's punching time.